I actually can't believe I'm saying this, but we are days away from 2026. This year genuinely flew by, and every single time this happens, people start thinking about new goals, new plans, and their new year resolutions. But before you rush into another year trying to do better and drastically change, there is something that you can do which most people have no idea about, and I'll get into that later in this video. But first, let's talk about why people never change during a new year. So my first point is most people will just repeat 2025 in 2026. So what does this mean? They'll keep doing the same habits, they'll have the same routines, and they will still indulge in the same distractions. To them, they think a new year means a new life, but that is just not how it works. A new calendar year doesn't magically change your behavior, it doesn't change your habits, it never changes your lifestyle. This is why people keep feeling stuck year after year. So yes, the year does change, but you don't, and that is the problem. Now my next point that I want to get into is why New Year resolutions normally fail. People focus all the time on what they want, and they completely ignore the things needed to actually get there. And most of the time, the things that you need to do to get there are extremely difficult. They think that writing down all these big goals and these drastic lifestyle changes, that it will be enough motivation for them to actually achieve this, but that is just false. New Year resolutions are a lie. I can honestly make a separate video about this, but that's pretty much why. It's because most people don't actually want to, they don't want the journey, they just want the result, pretty much, right? And that is another reason why people do not change during the new year. So what is it that you can do? This is the secret. This is how you can actually improve in 2026. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to reflect on 2025 before you move on. Even if you're watching this in February or March, whenever you're watching this video, it doesn't matter. Forget about 2026 and just pause and reflect on 2025. Most people will just completely jump into a new year, and they'll jump into it right now. I'm recording this, it's the 22nd of December. Most people are just completely forgetting about 2025 already. They are so focused and caught up in this fantasy of the new year, and they're just waiting for the perfect moment to change. But no, you need to pause and reflect on 2025. Look at what you actually achieved, what you learned, and most importantly, what you failed at. Use this reflection as an anchor to make 2026 better. So write all this down. Now, even if this year felt very fast or unproductive, small progress compounds over time. So celebrate the small wins that you made. Reflect on those small wins and even celebrate. Compare yourself from early 2025 to now. How much have you evolved since then? It seems like a blur. 2025 just flew right past us all. I understand that. But if you zoom out and look at where you were early 2025 to now, you will be so surprised at how much you've changed and how much progress you've actually made. So that's the first step, is just reflection. And during this reflection, you can also identify patterns of repeated mistakes that you made during 2025, that you can correct in 2026. So if you are more unproductive on weekends because maybe you slept in, that is a pattern, and you can work towards fixing that throughout the entire 2026. Notice how I say throughout the entire year. You're not going to fix it as soon as it hits January 1st. You are going to have all year to fix that. Obviously, that's not going to be the only thing. Hopefully you'll have a list of at least 10 mistakes that you made that is holding you back, and you can work on all of those throughout the new year. And that pretty much leads into my next step. You need to switch your mindset. Instead of chasing these massive instant changes, by January 1st, you're going to be in the gym every day, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. You need to focus on long-term consistency. You have all year. January is not the only time you have to change your life. You have the entire 2026 to improve yourself. And if you focus on long-term habits and focus on long-term consistency, I always preach this. You need to be consistent. Even if that means, if you want to start meditating, just do it for 1 minute every single day for the entire year. That is so much better than doing it for 20 minutes a day for a month and then just completely stopping for the rest of the year. So you need to be consistent and make all these good habits compound over time for you to reach your goals. So write down a list of things that you want to do, a list of things that you want to improve, and next to those things that you want to improve, write down the habits that you can do every single day to actually achieve them in the long run. You don't want to get results instantly. Every single reward that you get that's instant is always bad. You do not want instant results. Even if it's success, even if you get instant success, it is still bad, right? I'm not just talking about, instant gratification, instant dopamine, scrolling. I'm not just talking about that. Even if you become successful for 1 day's work, that is terrible for you, and I will never wish that upon my worst enemy. Now, the next thing that you need to do is set yourself some goals, right? What do you want to achieve at the end of 2026? And also next to these goals, write down exactly what you can do to get closer and closer to these goals every single day, 1% closer each day. So don't fall for the New Year's resolution trap. Do this instead and you'll be way ahead at the end of next year. You don't need a perfect year. You don't need to drastically change. You just need a meaningful one. Make 2026 worthwhile by improving yourself 1% every single day. Don't try to improve yourself 100% for the first day and then drop down to 0% for the rest of the year. That is what most people do. You do not want to be doing that. Focus on small wins that slowly lead you to the massive big win. That's all for today's video. If you guys found this video helpful, make sure to chuck a like and subscribe. I post videos like these every single week in hopes to change people's lives. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.